So I get a lot of questions about how do I resolve my writer's block? How do I get moving again with writing? Or how do I start writing a book? And the answer is always the same. I'm going to talk about three things today to create a writing temperament. This is like the mindset that you need if you ever want to make sure that you get that book across the finish line, because I can give you tips about everything from story arcs to plot structure to character arcs to how to build a scene or how to build a chapter, but none of that actually matters if you don't have the mindset to just sit down and get words on the page, and that is what this video is going to be about. So, here we go. First point. Carry a notepad with you wherever you go. You're going to carry this notepad around because you're going to use it as your ideas notepad. The thing is that ideas will come to you when you least expect them, and inspiration is going to come when you least expect it. The muse cannot be rostered. She comes whenever she wants to, and you just have to deal with it. So you're not going to be able to sit down at your designated writing time and just be inspired. It's not going to work like that. So every single time you have an idea, you are going to write that idea down in your notepad. Your idea might be trash. It might be fantastic. You don't know. But once you have enough ideas, you can go back and you can start reviewing them, and you can go, that idea, it doesn't have enough depth or complexity to really stretch out into a story, or I'm not feeling it, or I don't know enough about that subject to go into it right now. But some other ideas you might have will be, holy hell, that's cool, I want to look into that. That's what you need to do. Carry a notebook wherever you go, write down your ideas as they come, and eventually you will get a critical mass of ideas that can be turned into a full novel, novella, short story, manga, comic, whatever. It's going to be enough to work with, but you have to capture the ideas as they come, and you have to get in the habit of recording those ideas because they will come when you least expect it. The second thing that you need to do is commit to writing for 5 minutes a day. Just 5 minutes. It's about building the habit of writing. This was something that I picked up in the book Atomic Habits, and it's something that a lot of the pro writers, especially George R.R. Martin, say. Commit to writing for 5 minutes a day. Just 5 minutes. Sit down in front of your laptop or your notepad with a pen, put a timer on, put your phone away so that you don't get distracted by it, or any other distractions that you might have. Just remove them, find somewhere quiet and still, and just write for 5 minutes. Once that timer goes off, stop. Put your pen and paper down, close your laptop or whatever, and go away. You're done for the day. As long as you've got something on the page, that's progress. It might be one paragraph, one sentence, or one word, but as long as it's there, it's progress, and you have moved further along than if you hadn't sat down and gotten that one paragraph, one sentence, one word on the page. Progress is progress, and even if it's not, the best thing that's been written since Shakespeare, editing is a thing. Professional writers do not sit down and smash out their first draft and then take that to print. That's not how it works. They edit, they polish, they refine. You're no exception. You're going to be able to do that too. So it doesn't matter if the things that you write down during these 5 minute slots are really bad or clunky or unpolished or unrefined. It's progress. That's what counts. And that's what we're trying to build in you, is the habit of consistently writing for 5 minutes every day. Now, eventually, it's going to be easy to write something for 5 minutes. You're going to be able to fill the time more easily. It's not going to be as painful to draw the thoughts out of your head. That's when you stretch it out to 10 minutes a day. Again, just 10 minutes. Set a timer, make sure you've got no distractions, and then before you know it, 10 minutes will be easier. And then you start to build. You start to go for 20 minutes or maybe even an hour a day. And once you're at that hour a day stage, you are really able to start putting down bulk words on the page. And that's what you want. You want bulk words on page because that's how you get a novel out in a year or even less. If some of the pros get a novel out once every 6 months because their process is just so well oiled. They work like a machine. The other thing that you need to do, and this is still with the 5 minutes a day, we're not on to point 3 yet. The writing for 5 minutes a day thing is not just creating a habit. It is exercising the muscles in your brain. They're not muscles, but for the analogy, we'll call them that. They're exercising the muscle in your brain that comes with writing. You are building the neural pathway so that when you sit down, the words flow. The ideas don't necessarily have to flow. That's a separate process, but the words have to flow. You have to be able to articulate what it is you want and be able to put that down on page. If you exercise that muscle regularly, consistently, frequently, you are going to be better at putting words down on page when you sit down at your designated writing time. It's like the gym. You don't start at the gym lifting 100 kilo weights first go, or whatever it is in pounds for you Americans, because you still use a several 100-year-old system. You start off with the smaller weights and you build up to the bigger ones. Writing is no different. We are starting small and we are building you up, and it is only with regular, frequent, and consistent use, and with good habits that support that use, that you start to be able to lift the heavy weights and you start to be able to write the major amounts of the high word count, like get a high word count down at the end of each writing day. So you commit to writing 5 minutes a day, and eventually you'll build it out. You'll start working out that muscle and you'll get better at being able to put words down on page. The progress will go. Now, the third and final thing you need to do is get comfortable being bored. We live in an age where we are constantly entertained. We have access to content on every platform, on our phones, TV, computer, whatever. This is something that is distracting you from being bored right now. Me doing it is distracting you from being bored. Hopefully. Hope I'm not boring you. But the point is that if you are constantly entertained, your brain loses the ability to imagine, because the brain hates being bored. That's why so many industries have popped up that exist to entertain us, or exist to null our ability to think, drugs, alcohol, that kind of stuff. But if you're comfortable being bored, your brain is going to try to escape being bored. And how's your brain going to do that? It's going to start imagining things. So that's where you get the ideas from that you put down in your ideas notebook, because instead of flipping through your phone on the bus or on the train, or while you're waiting for the bus on the train, or while you're waiting for your coffee order, or while you're waiting for something else, instead of flipping out your phone, just stand there or sit there and be. Just observe your surroundings, listen to them, take them in. Let yourself be bored and let your mind wander, because when your mind starts to wander, that's when the ideas start happening, because you start noticing things and you start putting them together. That's creativity, that's imagination, because you're going to be sitting down in your coffee shop somewhere, and you're going to go, what would happen if dragons suddenly emerged from space, or something like that? How would we react? And what happens if it wasn't just a normal monster movie where the dragons had to be defeated? What if they were, sentient or something like that? What if they were actually an advanced species? And I've just realized I'm channeling the dinosaur plot from the latest Rick and Morty episode. But the point is that if you are comfortable being bored, your brain is going to be able to start putting things together as a means of escaping that boredom, and you're going to be working out that imagination muscle that is so fundamental to writers. Again, George R.R. Martin talks a lot about the importance of just going on a walk and letting your mind wander. J.R.R. Tolkien went for walks regularly at the campus that he worked at in Oxford, because he was an Oxford University professor. I'm pretty sure he was a literature professor. He would talk about how he regularly went for walks. I actually went for a walk at the park in Oxford that Tolkien walked through, and saw the tree that inspired the Ents. He wouldn't have gotten that inspiration if he weren't just going out and being in nature and letting his mind wander. If he was constantly entertained, Tolkien would not have come up with The Lord of the Rings. So, in summary, carry an ideas notebook with you wherever you go, so that you can capture the imagination, you can capture the muse when she comes to you. Commit to writing at least 5 minutes a day, and then incrementally build it up when it gets easier and easier. And get comfy being bored, so you can actually let your imagination go free. You can let your imagination work out. Anyway, that's enough for today. Give me more questions, like and share the video with your writing mates, and as always, happy writing.